Rishi Kapoor, what's up?
Kunal Shah, I can't believe I gave up on sleep for that, man. Is that the Australian Grand Prix? Is that the legendary Albert Park hosting a race? I mean, ah,
Wait, I'm going to answer you. Yes, it was a legendary Albert Park hosting what I would call it a Formula Rookie Grand Prix,
yes.
not a Formula One Grand Prix.
Okay, people are saying that this is a really boring race, not a good start to the season, etc., etc. But I'm going to do a little correction over here. But I'm going to come out and say, Kunal, I've seen much, much, much worse Grand Prix in terms of entertainment value. I've seen some Spas and Monzas which were far less entertaining, so it wasn't that bad.
Well, in my view, the fact that you just needed to start the race to score points was a bad formula. That means I just lasted out 5 more years or maybe 7 more years in my racing career and not started Australian Grand Prix in a McLaren, I would have scored points. So to me it was that we need more teams, we need more cars.
Okay.
And you cannot debate that a 15 car race or a 16 car race is ever going to be as entertaining.
Yeah, my theory behind this is you never really care about the back markers and the cars behind. But this was a bit too less because when 11 cars finish, these guys can't even make a cricket team because they don't have a 12th man.
But you know what? A lot of people could call this a quantity versus quality discussion. But I'm sorry, you need to find a balance for the two. Because if you really want quantity, just put Alonso versus Hamilton versus Vettel versus Button versus Michael. Just put the world champions in the same car and let them race. There'll be some 4-5 cars on the track. But will you enjoy it is the question.
Yes, absolutely. We are going to call this new version of Formula One the Formula Rookie. The Australian Grand Prix is from now onwards referred to in this podcast as the Formula Rookie. And Formula Rookie, why?
Because everything in Australia was rookie level. I think the only thing professional about it was A, Mercedes, and B, the Inside Line Formula One podcast.
All right, to start with, lot of rookies started, lot of rookies did not start. The rookies that started scored points. Example, Nasser, Sainz.
Yes, Verstappen almost would have got points.
Yes, the guys who were rookies who didn't start were
sort of Daniel Kvyat, and of course Manor, very rookie in the way they approached the Grand Prix weekend. They're going to be paying for their freight. I think also what was rookie were the pit stops. I mean, teams practice pit stops for an hour every day in the winter season. And I think every second team had pit stop issues.
And that too with the same tire.
Absolutely. So everything was rookie about it.
While the rookie discussion is going to take shape a little later, coming back to the Grand Prix itself, the Australian Grand Prix, the only overtaking maneuver we remember is Ericsson overtaking Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, a rookie over a rookie again.
But if I come back to Grand Prix itself, I think for me, I was irritated when I saw Kimi having that contact in the beginning. I was irritated when his pit stops went wrong. I was so irritated when he was stuck behind the slower cars, and I was fuming with anger when his car stopped because I certainly believe, I know you're going to disagree, that he was slightly faster than Vettel. He loves the new car, and the fact that he just missed out on a strong result.
He did, and I actually won't disagree with you. Thank you. He was doing 1 minute 31. He was matching the pace with Mercedes-Benz cars in the mid race, and I think he would have probably been in for a strong result. But I'll tell you one guy who missed out on the podium, Felipe Massa.
Actually, Williams missed out on that podium because they shot in their own foot. I mean, sometimes I don't understand things that you and I can predict on TV. Yes, I believe that the Ferrari was slightly faster, but looking at how these cars are placed, it was very difficult to overtake yesterday. They could have, should have, would have fought harder and got the podium.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is where also Massa made the lol moment when he said, listen, we want the same engine as the Mercedes AMG Petronas team.
Massa, the answer to that is in your dreams.
But you know what? When I tweeted this out over the weekend, Mercedes-Benz actually replied to my tweet saying, we actually give them the same engine. It's the Mercedes-Benz family, which was an even bigger lol moment.
Like we don't know. But what we don't know is why teams come up with statements like, we're going to quit. We're not winning, we're going to quit. We're sore losers, we're going to quit. Red Bull. The Red Bull Renault team has turned around and said, first, they called Renault a rubbish company. They said they're not listening to us. They said, B, they've made more losses than last year. They've lost more horsepower. There's some 100 horsepower down. Christian Horner last week made a very, very funny statement saying, we don't need wind tunnels. And now they said, we don't need Red Bull. We're going to quit. We're going to walk away.
You know what? It's a little funny situation, even more so because it's happening at the first round of the season. Like Toto Wolff and Christian Horner are locked in bullfight, as I would call it. I do believe that Red Bull could quit Formula One. Like I keep telling you, it is always a business. If Dietrit Matijas, whatever his name is, gets the right price for his teams, he will sell it. But right now, it does seem like aimless rumors. And they want to quit because they want FIA to step in and actually equalize the engine formula, which to me is the other lol moment.
Yes, because these guys were one of the first people to turn around and say we need 1.6 engines. Well, they were very much in for the hybrid formula that Mercedes.
Yeah, especially Renault absolutely wanted the 1.6 engines, Rishi. The funnier part in this Red Bull quit moment, Rishi, was that Bernie Ecclestone, your good friend, okay, actually supports their decision to let FIA step in. But Bernie made a statement, which in my term is called cannibalization of the sport. He's turned around and said, guys, let's just freeze the Mercedes engine and let the others catch up. Like, I don't even know what that means.
Kunal. LOL moment. Okay. The hindsight or the bright side of that thing is if Red Bull does go away, we'll have a car manufacturer in the name of Audi rumored to be buying Red Bull to step into the formula because Audi is always welcome.
Yes, a car manufacturer is always welcome. But I'll tell you, there'll be two things they'll be looking out for. A, the consistency of future rules, which currently everything is all over the place. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the next 2 years. And B, I'm sure all the other manufacturers that are looking to come into the sport have seen the struggles that Honda is facing. I mean, it is not an easy engine formula to master. You don't want to do a Renault where you ask for the formula, you get the formula, and then you are unable to cope with it. That's an even bigger PR disaster.
I have been really, really scratching my head over the Haas F1 racing team because there is a possibility they'll be on the grid next year with this complicated engine formula only for a year and then change it all over again when 2017 has new rules.
Yes, but Rishi, they're actually very smart, and that's where I somewhere like the Americans. Hello to our American listeners.
Woohoo!
They have done a phenomenal tie-up with Ferrari, where except for the chassis and the bodywork, everything is going to be given by Ferrari, and they pay for it.
Yes, we don't have the headache. You do it. You may not give us the best. Well, you might just give us the equal engine like Mercedes is giving to Williams. But we're okay with finishing wherever we are. We just want to step into your shoes and then let you do the hard work. So that's all right. People who did not work hard enough, in fact, didn't work at all. The Lotus Mercedes powered team. Why? Both the cars out on the first lap. Maldonado feeling bad. Romain Grosjean feeling hilarious. I don't understand. If they had the same result last year, why just switch the engines at all?
But you know what? Maldonado crashed. Can you imagine? Only that this time he got tapped.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't his fault. This never happens in Formula One, so this was really a different Grand Prix.
And he's never finished a race in Australia. Not that it matters, right? I'm sure there are lots of other races he's not finished yet.
Manor hasn't come out in any manner at all, and it didn't affect him.
Yes, but it's been since the ill-fated Japanese Grand Prix that they've struggled to actually even start a race. And guess what? They use a Microsoft engine software system. So that's why we know why it didn't start up.
Okay. Another rookie mistake was, I think, in this whole Sauber saga, where Manisha Kaltenborn almost went behind bars and Georg van der Garde almost stepped into the car.
And two lucky guys would have got those Sauber cars had they been impounded. Damn it. For free, that too.
I'm getting a feeling it'll be you and me. Okay, so the deal is the Sauber saga nobody's talking about right now because suddenly the focus is all on Red Bull. But the fact is, Guido has not completely given up his take on the car for the rest of the season. Now it still continues, but hurrah to that team that has found a little more pace than last year and looked good and actually got some points.
Well, I actually agree and disagree. So firstly, I think Sauber did a very shoddy job in defending themselves.
True.
The way they've got drivers to pay for their seats this year, they probably got a rookie lawyer, to pay to fight their own battle, okay, in court.
They remind me of those colleges in Mumbai that take a lot of donation for seats and produce doctors and lawyers out of it. I mean, it's really hilarious. But luckily,
Rishi, you're a doctor. Did you do this?
I am going to check your teeth to prove it.
But yes, in Sauber's case, P5, brilliant drive by Felipe Nasser. I don't deny it, but let's get honest and realistic about it. We had two Lotuses not finish.
Yes.
We had the McLarens not doing well at all. We had a Ferrari not finish. We had a Toro Rosso which had a 30-second pit stop. So realistically, it's probably outside the top 10 or just about
Just
there.
outside,
Yes. But you would of course take the P5.
Absolutely. Any points are good points.
And points are money.
Very, very important for a team like Sauber. Every penny counts. Another lol moment that came out, and this is really, really funny. When Mario Arriva Ben, I don't know if he's Gujarati, but I'm just asking, but he just turned around and said, "Oh, we are Ferrari, we've taken care of Williams, we've taken care of Red Bull, all we need to do is just put our head down and look at Mercedes." Now, this was really hilarious because, well, I'm 100% sure Mercedes is not running full 100% power on their engines, and they weren't the fastest along the straight, so I'll believe that.
Yeah.
Is it realistically possible, even in the second half of the season, that Ferrari looks like inching towards?
Well, it's very, very difficult to call that. Personally, I think the Williams would be little quicker, even though they've admitted they're not. But that's the Williams. They've always been defensive in their approach. But for him to have written them off is the lol moment that we're talking of. So for him to have written off Williams and Red Bull, too early, my friend.
A bit too overconfident, I believe. But what I believe is this is a very, very close battle between Vettel and Kimi, and I'll tell you why. Both these guys need a very sharp end of the front car, which is very good for Ferrari because then if drivers with similar driving styles are driving for you, it develops the car very well, which wasn't the case with Alonso and Kimi.
Well, I only know one thing, Rishi. I think Vettel is the lucky charm for any Formula One team, and Alonso is the unlucky guy. Can you imagine?
True.
Alonso leaves the team and they get a podium.
Absolutely.
And that too at the hands of Vettel.
Who's actually... It's funny. It's really, really funny. It's really funny. I'm going to come back to Vettel. Vettel versus Rosberg. Rosberg says, "Oh, it's great if other teams fight with us and they get close to us." Of course, he's bluffing. He's kidding. Vettel turns around and says, "Really? You want to go slow? You want me to come down and sit in your debriefs?"
Rishi, you got to buy both of us tickets to Malaysia. It's not too far from here.
Yeah.
We should be there when both of them meet in the Friday debrief in the engineer's room. I absolutely love their banter.
Imagine who didn't have the debrief this race.
Who didn't have?
Kevin Magnussen. Because he didn't have a race. The biggest lol moment of the race was Kevin Magnussen. Alonso had to get into a crash to give him a place and he still couldn't drive. I mean, I'm just, my heart goes out for the guy, but well, he just had a plane ride.
I just remember one Hindi word out here.
Yes.
Naseeb.
Naseeb, yes.
You might want to explain what that is.
Naseeb, for all our people outside India who don't get Hindi or Urdu, is fate. Fate, not on Kevin's side, is fate.
And I would here quote the great Morpheus from The Matrix when he says, "Fate has a unique sense of irony." Can you imagine? For Kevin Magnussen. Let's give it for him, guys.
Woo! Kevin, you still turned up on a 20-hour flight to the place. We wish you a safe bon voyage, Kevin. Bon voyage. All right. I'm going to talk about all the rookies now. Well, if you go to see, Daniel Kvyat was a rookie for Red Bull. I mean, he's really young and he didn't get to drive. It's a very difficult car to drive.
This reminds me, Red Bull gives you a wing. That podcast we had done.
No, what I'm going to say is, what did Daniel Kvyat do while he was not driving a race?
What did he do?
He shared his lunch with Kevin Magnussen.
You mean did it have some Russian vodka since both of them are probably underage in drinking?
It has some Danish pastries for sure. Okay, I'm going to come back to some rookie jokes here. Very well done, Nasser. Very well done, Sainz.
You know, every time you say Nasser, it reminds me of Felipe Massa. I don't know.
I know, it just sounds like that. Yes.
But yes, Nasser, yes.
Carlos Sainz showed signs of a great driver to be. Verstappen, again, a lot of people talking about
I'm going to
him.
stop on Sainz.
Yes.
30 seconds stationary in a pit stop, still getting 2 points. Phenomenal. What a drive. Like, absolutely.
But the rookie of the day for me and for Kunal was none of the drivers, was none of the mechanics, was none of the teams. It was actually
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm sure again our American listeners are all applauding. Let's applaud. So here's why. Rishi, why don't you tell everyone why?
Yes, because the only entertainment we got all Grand Prix was actually after the Grand Prix on the podium when Arnold was doing the interviews, and it was fantastic. I mean, the guy knows his sport in limited amounts, not like us. But well, he still did a good job.
He
Much
was
better.
very entertaining.
Very entertaining, much better than most of the people that get up there, except Martin Brundle.
Maybe David Coulthard as well.
Maybe.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I loved it when two things happened on the podium. When Hamilton said, "Hey, I thought you were actually taller than this." Massive lol moment. I'm sure Arnold wanted to just punch his jaws out. The second was when at the end, both of them turned around and said, "I'll be back." Can you imagine what would have happened if Kimi Räikkönen was in this conversation?
Kimi would have said, "Don't tell me what to do. I know
what I'm doing." But here's where I'm going to quote one of a Formula One fan who tweets a lot, who writes and hopefully listens to us as well, Binoy. He said, "You know what? They should have got Arnold Schwarzenegger to stress test those carbon fiber chassis there."
I'm sure Manor would have failed. But what do you think about Mercedes from here? Because when you go to Malaysia, you have a racing track. Is the advantage going to extend?
Listen, they can extend the advantage if they are under pressure. That's very clear. They're winning absolutely effortlessly, which is good. They're the only team that seem F1 spec. Slick pit stops, very, very professional the way they handle themselves. Everyone else is falling all around them. I think Mercedes is undoubtedly going to win this year's Constructors' Championships. My worry also, Rishi, I know you and I are slightly more biased towards Rosberg, sorry, Hamilton fans, is that we could very well see a Lewis Hamilton washout this year. I don't know. I fear it, of course, single team, single driver domination, but well, that's what it could be.
I'm really surprised because yesterday I firmly believe that their pace was really, really similar. This track is a little difficult to overtake, but yes, Nico tried everything he could. I'm just hoping and praying and believing that it goes into a good duel fight, even if Lewis wins, that is. Because
a fair fight, a duel fight, what we need. Because we saw a four-way fight. Why don't you talk about that video? Rishi?
Yes, we saw a viral video that Kunal has just shared with me of IndyCar, where there are three cars right next to each other, driving at Indianapolis, going for the checkered flag, and the guy actually behind. I'm not going to give a spoiler. It's a four-way fight.
We'll put the link.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Yes.
The only time somebody other than Patrick Dempsey actually got famous.
Yes, another Dempsey. It is going to be. You have to watch it. We have to watch out for a lot more news coming from Formula One. Malaysia is on the cards. It's going to be entertaining, I believe, this time. I hope a lot more cars are starting and finishing, and McLaren, start praying.